Hey everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode of Our Parents' Basement, a podcast in which four gamers from all walks of life join forces to make the world a better place, one video game nerd at a time. Now, last week, your OPP buddies talked about some of their favorite video game finds for the month of March. Then we introduced our newest segment called Bargains and Blunders. You got to hear about our success stories and our tales of woe and strife when we hunted around for video game bargains. Tonight we have new stuff to talk about, some of which is rather controversial, dare I say, and hopefully it will generate lots of discussion and hopefully it will get us lots of coverage as well. But before we start, let's do some introductions. So, as you all know, I'm Cashel, and when I'm not gaming, I enjoy lip syncing to Missy Elliott in the mirror with a hairbrush. But that's just me. We are joined today by Zach Z, who, when not gaming, enjoys washing and conditioning his beautiful ponytail so it shines in the sunlight.
Okay.
Furthermore, we have Mr. Nikon. When he's not gaming, he enjoys telling people no when they ask to put ketchup on their hot dogs.
Damn straight.
Chicago style for life. And finally, we have Turf. For those who don't know, when he's not gaming, he enjoys going to the local hoedown, I said hoedown, and teaching the uneducated the proper way to do the do-si-do. And he's here as well.
All right.
That's what I heard. Anyways, and I'm really, really excited to announce that we have our very first special guest. He's a YouTube personality. He is an avid video game player. He is a movie-watching buff, and most importantly, he is a crusader who will do anything to put a stop to childhood cancer.
Yep.
He joins us tonight with a fresh face and a shiny head. There that is. Everyone, I think it's time we welcome 8-Bit Eric to Our Parents' Basement. Welcome aboard. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for the invite. Decided to come on and check out y'all's podcast. I didn't know I was the first guest. That's an honor. So thanks.
Oh, well, glad to have you. Really excited for you to be here. And before we start, gushing about you, it actually has come to my attention that one of our castmates, Turf, has returned from another video game convention. So, Turf, I'm going to quickly hand the floor over to you so you can tell us what you've been up to this last weekend.
Well, this last weekend, I went to Oklahoma City to Super BitCon.
Okay.
If y'all haven't checked this out, the Retro Gamer Society, the RGS, puts on an excellent show. There is all kinds of guests there. Patrick Scott Patterson, and I know I'm messing this up because it's the dude that was from Nick Arcade back in the day, and I'm completely blanking on his name right now.
Like, is it Phil Lamar or something like that? Phil
Yes,
Moore, something like
yes.
that.
Phil Moore. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Really cool guy. I'm sorry, I just completely blanked on his name. The Game Chasers were there. Let's see, Gaming Historian was there. Yeah, it was such a good time. Brett Weiss, the author, was there. It was such a good time, man. Got to hang out with people, got to see people. Our buddies, the Bad Graphics Gamers, were there. It was a good time. Picked up a lot of stuff. Got to shake hands, kiss babies, that type of stuff. It was a blast, man. It was. I love these gaming conventions. I love going and spending a weekend with people that are about the same things that I am. Hanging out with them, playing games, talking, shooting the bull, buying stuff, trading stuff. It's a blast. So if you ever get a chance to go to a convention, I definitely drive the 6 or 8 hours, whatever it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And if you want to, the next one I will be at is Retropalooza in Arlington. I'm not going to make Houston because, well, it's too soon, but come see me, man. It'll be fun.
I've yet to be to Super BitCon. They always seem like they scheduled around WrestleMania weekend, and I just have so many plans usually on that weekend. I would love to go one year, but I have yet to go. I mean, it's not too far from where I'm at. It's probably about 8 hours, 9 hours. That's not too bad.
Great.
It's a good one, man. It's definitely worth the time. And I got to meet some fellow VG collectors. I got to meet Sawyer, Brad, So a good buddy of mine online. I like to put faces with names, so that's fun. Or faces with avatars or screen names. It was a blast.
Awesome. That is so fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. And remind us, was that the con where you got one of your few remaining Nintendo games?
I did. I got somebody actually, the Diamond State Gaming. Those guys from there. Chris bought me Overlord, which is one of my last 3 games. So now I just have Stadium Events and Flintstones, and I'll be done with my NES collection. So
that is awesome. I congratulations. That is so cool. You're so close to the end.
It's been a long road.
I can imagine. Like I said, sounds like a lot of fun. Really glad you got Overlord. I mean, that only leaves Flintstones 2, right? Not Flintstones 1.
Right, Flintstones 2.
Well, maybe just maybe you can find that at Retropalooza. Like you mentioned, we'll all be there come October, so you can all look for us there. OPB will be there in full force. And speaking of force, as some of you may or may not know, a new Star Wars trailer was shown this morning.
Yeah. I still haven't even seen it.
Oh,
you haven't watched it yet?
No, I haven't watched
what
it yet.
What kind of fan are you, dude?
I've watched it about
busy.
4 or 5 times already.
I haven't seen it yet. Everybody's been talking to me about it.
Are you gonna do another react video?
I might. I'm not sure yet. I think at this point it's too late in the day. It's already gonna be 9 o'clock at night. Any kind of traffic that anybody would get to it is gone already.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Well, you can always make fun of kids looking at it and get blow up the internet again.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I haven't seen it yet, so something to look forward to.
It's a really good. There's no lightsabers. There's no force in the whole trailer. It's just showing how they. It's the story of Rogue One is what the name of the movie is. It's the story of a Star Wars tale or something like that, and they're gonna. It's how they get the plans for the Death Star. The Rebel Alliance does for what happens in A New Hope. So it's set between I guess 3 and 4. Or episodes 3 and 4. Man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm pumped. I like the idea of something of just the normal people type, or the soldiers, I guess, type, part of that universe, because not everybody was a Jedi.
Yeah.
There was only, so I like that idea. I just want to see more of that. I want to see the Han Solo movie they talked about, just telling about his origins and stuff like that. I think that'll be awesome. But this one it's got me pumped. I'm really excited about it.
So it's not episode 8, it's more like episode 3.5.
0.5.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's better to think it as a spinoff.
And they're gonna have spin-offs between each movie from now on for the foreseeable future.
They're making all these different movies that are in the same universe, and they're not part. It's kind of like, I guess, Captain America happened outside of the Avengers. Like, say the Avengers is the main storyline. We got Captain America and Thor and the Hulk movie, and we've got all these different things going on outside of the main storyline. So that's kind of what's happening with the Star Wars universe, and man, it's going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to it. And they brought back the what's her name? That one character, she's like a commander of the rebels, Mon
Mothma.
What? Yeah, however you say her last name, yeah. So I started like ooh.
She's the general / leader, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When I first heard the trailer was coming out, I thought it was going to be a completely different movie, because last time I heard about it, there was also talks about the Boba Fett movie. So for some reason, I thought Rogue One was going to be that Boba Fett movie. And,
I think the Boba Fett one is going to be the last out of the 3 that are announced for spin-offs. I think that's going to be the last one.
Yeah, so it took me for a bit of a loop, but it definitely looks interesting.
So there's pretty much gonna be a Star Wars movie coming out every year for the next 4 years or something like that.
Longer than that.
Because Jesus loves us.
Yeah, honestly, that's just the ones that are announced. I could honestly see them making a Star Wars movie every year for at least the next 10 years.
Oh yeah.
I think you could, and it not get old.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be like going in the '60s. They had a Western come out all the time. It was set in the Old West. But there were different characters, a different story, and didn't really loosely interlaced.
Yeah.
There was a United States.
there is a risk that they might water it down a little bit. It might become a little too much, which I don't want. Preferably, I don't want my Star Wars to become like Star Trek, where there's just so much movies and crap. Where it's like, to me, it's just too much. It felt more special when it was just, a star. Like, you think of the time that happened between the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, and then you think of the time between the prequel trilogy and the new trilogy. It's like, to me, that felt special to have to wait, 20 years or so to get new stuff. I just don't want it like handed to me. I don't know. I'm weird.
Yeah.
No, I completely understand. But at the same time, like after when the prequel started, you had one every few years.
Mm.
So space it out. Maybe not every year, but keep them coming. It's a living universe. We need to keep letting it grow.
Yeah.
Maybe redo the Ewok movies.
Yeah, I think I have a feeling they're gonna start making eventually there's going to become like, even though it was rumored and it never happened, they're going to make a young Luke Skywalker television series. It's going to be a young Luke. They're probably going to make a young Han Solo type of thing. Something like that. I could see him doing all that.
Like the young Indiana Jones Chronicles?
Yeah, I could see him doing it with Luke or with Han.
I can see them doing it with Han. I can see it working. I just don't want like Han to bump into a young Luke on Tatooine. I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Well, you ended up with Darth Vader made C-3PO, so stuff like that happened.
Yeah,
I know that.
And you say that they'll possibly water it down, but throughout the history of Star Wars, there's always been something going on. Especially when you consider the comics and the books that came out between the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And all those books are non-canon anymore. Most of them are not.
Oh yeah, almost nearly all of the expanded universe doesn't count anymore. I think the only thing that still technically counts, and it really doesn't, is the Shadows of the Empire, only because there's a couple characters that I think eventually happened or are going to happen that are in Disney canon right now. So, like for example, the hell was it? Like, okay, so in the special editions, they actually show Dash Rendar's ship on, I think, Empire Strikes Back. So Dash Rendar is technically canon because his ship was in a movie, and they're counting the movies as canon, no matter what. So Shadows of the Empire is technically canon, but not. Or at least Dash Rendar's character is canon, but you know what I mean? So who knows?
I guess IG-88's in the movies, so he would be canon.
Yeah.
He was big in Shadows of the Empire. So yeah, new trailer came out. It was awesome. I'm excited.
And it sucks that they pushed the release date back to Christmas time.
Wow.
It was supposed to come out.
It was supposed to be out this May.
Yeah, it's supposed to be out May.
And they pushed it back to next Christmas, which that's okay.
Wait, next Christmas, like 2017, or
this Christmas?
Okay.
2016.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be.
Yeah, the next Christmas is going to be Episode 8.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So pretty much we're going to be getting them around the same time each year. It looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, Disney's like, we can make money if we do it around Christmas. They're like, yes, money.
That's pretty much what it is. Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, I haven't seen it yet. Looks like everyone else here has, except for 8-Bit. I haven't seen the trailer either, so.
Oh yeah, I definitely
it's okay.
have.
But I'm not a Star Wars fan, so I probably won't see it anytime soon. But that's okay.
Get out.
All you kids like Star Wars, I swear to God. Anyways, well, enough about that. I may live in the South right now, but I'm not from there. But I have learned the ways of Southern hospitality. 8-Bit Eric, you are our special guest, so I want to kind of give the floor over to you, and maybe we'll go around and ask you a few questions, if that's all right with you, of course. All right. Well, tell us about yourself. Who is 8-Bit Eric?
I've been doing YouTube, I guess, regularly since 2011. I make simple videos, nothing too fancy. You're not going to see fancy editing in Photoshop.
Well, I mean,
I was mostly retro, but then I started getting into recent stuff. started becoming a big fan of the games that are like indie games and just some stuff. Like I just experienced so many new franchises I've never played before. And I basically just, pick up videos, reviews, random stuff, let's plays, things like that. But also, I have pro wrestling experience. I do independent wrestling in Texas. I've been all over other states as well, but I've tried to post some of those on my channel as well. People more than likely have seen me from being a guest on Game Chasers. I have, gotten to go to a few conventions, Con Bravo, Too Many Games, Classic Gaming Expo in Vegas, Portland Retro Gaming Expo, Retropalooza. I think I might be forgetting one or two somewhere. But basically, I've due to YouTube, I've gotten to meet a lot of people and experience a lot of things. We just started a podcast called the Chodecast. That's taken off pretty well. I think today we're actually about to hit 1,500 subscribers on that channel. Born and raised on Nintendo and Sega, so I didn't really, and I kind of stuck with that up until a few years ago. Never had PlayStations or Xboxes growing up. It was always Sega and Nintendo only. So when I started going over to the other sides, I started feeling like I was cheating on my original two that I grew up. I actually grew up with a Master System first, experienced that, and then when my cousins had a Nintendo, I fell in love with that, and I was the Nintendo guy, and my brother was the Sega guy, but I always played the Sega stuff with my brother. So yeah, I don't know, not too fantastic of a story. I don't have an elaborate.
No, I love hearing that.
I don't have an elaborate, rare, expensive collection like some guys like Gamester or Pat would have. A lot of what I have is just what I've gotten through the years or managed to get for like $1. I try to stay cheap with my game buying. So, yeah.
You're in good company for that. I mean, like Turf will tell you, we don't pay full price for games, do we, Turf?
Never.
No, we don't.
Not,
we just
well,
don't do that.
we don't.
We just don't do that. So you're in good company with that.
Eric, I got a question for you, man. You started back in, you said 2011, making videos. When you first got together with the Game Chasers, that's probably where most people probably first realized you when they blew up. Did you ever dream that it would be like y'all have developed this universe, kind of like the Jay and Silent Bob universe, that there's all these fringe characters. Did you have any idea that like so many people would know who Eric is? I mean, it's like you and then the Game Chasers and Alpha, Pat.
Not so much for the YouTube stuff. I have experienced just a little bit of it for. I had to push my laundry. I didn't notice it was in camera. My laundry is over there. I experienced some of it from wrestling. Like I've gotten recognized for wrestling a lot and things like that. So I'm not gonna say I'm used to it, but it's weird when. Because I've gotten recognized at jobs, I've gotten recognized at Disney World. Some guy from the United Kingdom happened to be in Disney World the same time I was in line for one of the rides. He's like, "Oh my gosh, you're 8-Bit Eric," and I was like, "Okay, that's cool." Like, it was just kind of. I'm not like, oh, I'm some. I don't even like the term personality. You know what I mean? I just.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what
I
I'm
don't
introduced to. My bad.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I don't ever look at myself as some internet sensation celebrity guy. I don't even like to call my subscribers or fans. I like to call them viewers or viewership or fellow YouTubers. I don't know. Like most gaming has been like one of my favorite things since I was a kid, and so has wrestling. So it's two different worlds. And then I also have my personal life. So I have like many hats. Like the past couple years, I was doing college and all that, so that was one different universe. And I try not to tell each different hat of mine. Like I have friends that are wrestling only that have no idea about the YouTube and vice versa. And then when it crosses over, people find out about it. It's kind of interesting. Like the newspaper came to my house a few months ago and they interviewed me about the history of like games, how they evolved through the years. We talked about like Pac-Man, and then that the app game that Pac-Man has, I think it's called 256, where it kind of like is based on the glitch. Basically, your Pac-Man and the stage is auto-scrolling up, and the glitch is like following behind you to like end your game. We talked about the evolution between Mario and Mario Maker, like how games like that, or how games in general that are just kind of bringing back, I guess, that retro vibe. Like, why is that still, a thing today? Like, why has gaming evolved so much? Why is gaming such a big part of society and stuff like that? So it was interesting to do that, and it's weird to think that there's like that was more than it was, because like as a kid I never thought, oh man, people are gonna listen about games, because that's what attracted me to YouTube in the first place. You discovered like AVGN and guys like that. Like when I remember the first couple of people I discovered reviews for, I'm like, wow, I never thought somebody would be doing, oh, let's review an old game. You know what I mean? And then it just kind of got like interesting because it had that nostalgia factor. And to me, like when people listen to me about it or talk to me about it or look at me as like, hey, Eric, I'm going to a flea market. Any tips? Like they look for me as a source for tips. It kind of like I'm still like kind of like I'm just a jabroni, dude. I don't know why you're, don't trust me. You tell me your secrets. You probably know more than me. That's the way I see it.
When I was going to San Antonio, I actually hit you up and like, man, where's a good place to go in San Antonio? Just because that's where you're from. So I mean, I'm guilty of that too.
No, and what I mean by like what I'm saying is that I don't like it trips me out because I didn't ever expect that, and I still don't think, like, I don't want to say I'm not worthy of it, but I still feel like it's a new thing to me. It's kind of crazy.
Kind of like a culture shock almost.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You put a lot of work into it and put a lot of effort into being. I mean, I guess not necessarily to be a personality, but to put yourself out there. You put a lot of effort into it. So man, accept it, embrace it.
Yeah, it's trippy when you look at the bigger picture of how many people, even if you don't have a lot of people watching you, like, I mean, even y'all's, like, like we just started a podcast and y'all's podcast is fairly new. The accessibility, the potential of how many people could actually run onto one of your video links at any moment. Like right now as we're speaking, somebody from across the world could stumble on the link for any of our stuff. It's so crazy how accessible we really are without realizing it.
Well, and we put ourselves out there. We kind of I don't know why. I blame myself for being an attention whore. That's why I'm on this podcast, is because I have some kind of weird need for people to listen to me. So I can talk to this camera, and I imagine that I'm talking to other people, but there may or may not be anybody listening. I think we have 12 subscribers. So I didn't tell you that before you came on. But,
oh, that's fine, man. You got to start from somewhere. And, you always got to remember the first few, those 12. You got to build up from there and get them to build up. And
like we've talked about, we do this for fun.
Humble beginnings.
This is a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. Like, I'm not doing this for fame and fortune. I'm doing this because I love video games, and to be able to talk about them with people who love them as much as I do, that's what it's all about. That's why I take an hour out of my Thursday night to do this thing. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, pretty much the same here, and where also I tend to have a problem with actually talking and getting what I want to say out, so this kind of helps me with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've all started there. I mean, if you watch some of the earliest videos of anybody else, man, they're all just so like new to expressing whatever they have to say on camera. I'm still like that at times, but a lot of what helps me is that the performing experience that I have from wrestling, and that also by the same token kind of hurts me because people say, oh, you're trying too hard, you're doing this and that. That's not me trying too hard. That's me being used to act in a certain way when a camera's on me. Like I tend to put like a character voice on, or I tend to act like a certain way, like if I was doing a wrestling promo, or if I was like in wrestling character a little bit. So it's kind of tough. So I don't know. It's hard to explain.
I get you.
It's
Like I find myself doing it a lot. Like when I'm on a Game Chasers episode and they have to interview me. Like instead of me just being like, okay, today we went to the flea market, we found some games. I'm like, well, today we went to the flea market and we found like,
Okay.
I'm a little bit more, like it's kind of tough. And he's like, no, dude, just be that. I'm like, dude, I am being that. Like this is how I would be in front of a camera, and it's a little experience. It's a little different,
Well, when the red light goes on, sometimes you have the red light reaction, and who knows what could happen. I mean, I'm not this excitable at work because I'm not talking about video games at work. So
Yeah.
but I try to be. I'd say. So 8-bit Eric, what is? Oh, go ahead, Turf. Go ahead.
I was gonna bring up. We talked about the childhood cancer thing. I was gonna let you bring up the St. Baldrick's.
So good job.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
So
I'm sorry.
well, a bit of a backstory. About a couple years ago, one of my best friends, his name's Josh, his wife got diagnosed with a form of cancer, and she successfully defeated it. Like she beat cancer. She went through all the recovery process. It's gone. It's not coming back. Every time she goes in, there's no signs of it at all. And she has a Relay for Life team, which is by American Cancer Society. And the past couple years, we've had a team. We've done the walk. And I was like, you know what? Let's try to raise some funds by doing a live stream. And this was like a month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago. We raised $2,500 doing a live stream, and it helped our team. And it goes to a good cause. It's I care about my friends, so if it helped them out a lot, then that's what's more important to me. So then I thought, what if I tried to do once a month or whenever I can to find something else to do a good cause to. And I was on Facebook, and I saw an advertisement for the St. Baldrick's event that was coming into town, and it was literally like 4 or 5 days before the event. I was like, man, there's no way I can get anything. I don't think I can do it. And I was like, you know what, screw it. Someone was telling me that I should do it, so I volunteered to become a shavy and raise funds for it. I raised about $800 for it in a few days, which is fucking amazing. I didn't expect it. And so it was basically it's an event called Brave the Shave. You raise the money, you shave your head, and it just goes to childhood cancer research. I know there's a couple other people in the gaming community. One of them's name is Kyle Levering. I think he's going through a battle with cancer right now, and he actually messaged me and told me how much it meant to him that I would be supporting a cause like that, and like stuff like that is what it's all about. But anything that involves helping kids out, it's always about the kids, in my opinion. And I got that from the wrestling too. Is at the end of the day, you're a bad guy, but the all that matters is getting the kid that's sitting right there to go home and have something to talk about the whole way home. So and it got me, and I wanted to do something to help out like that. Use what small influence I have in order to make a difference.
Hey, every little bit helps. That is awesome. That's wonderful. Do you have a little ones of your own?
I don't have my own. I have nieces and nephews though, but I don't have my own children.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, like
Hear that, lady?
I treat them, huh?
I said, that, ladies? He's single.
My nieces are practically like my daughters though. Like I treat them just like if they're my own, and I couldn't imagine the struggles or the feeling that it would be to. I mean, parents one thing having to hear your kid has cancer, but just imagining how that kid would feel. A 5-year-old kid being told that they have cancer, and just the struggle, and people, adults know better to not treat the kid any differently, but their fellow other kids are gonna do it, and the stats was like I think every 3 minutes a kid's diagnosed with cancer, 1 in 5 kids gets cancer, 2 out of 3 get bad side effects from the treatment, so it's a tough thing to handle with, and just anything that can help it was the reason why I was a big supporter of it.
That's great.
And I mean, like lately you hear like things like like a lot, like I don't want to say negativity gaming wise, but I mean with crap like that Calico Chameleon thing that came out, and then you hear people complaining about butt poses in Overwatch, and just all sorts of nonsense about people complaining. I figured let's do something positive for once,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Zach, I saw you like shake your head when you mentioned that butt thing. Is that something that hits close to home?
I just heard when I heard about that, I just thought that was completely stupid.
And you know what? Here's my thing, and I don't know if this was on y'all's agenda for topics, but first of all, she's probably one of the most clothed characters in the game. She
What
had
game
no
again?
skin.
Remind me.
Overwatch.
Okay.
She has no ass showing. She's like practically fully clothed except from like her elbow to her wrist. It was just the crease, and it's like there's more characters that are female in that game that are more sexualized than what she was. And for
Apparently, they've
whatever
never seen
reason,
Bayonetta.
Yeah.
the main argument was that people looked up to her like a tough figure, and they didn't
They
want her
looked up to each other.
sexualized. They didn't want her to be sexualized. They wanted her to be an elite killer, basically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not to get into anything or get anybody coming at us with pitchforks. I don't know what y'all
Oh,
feel
bring it
like,
on.
but
I love that.
it's just a little too over the top. If you're gonna look at one thing and ignore everything else, just don't even try. You know what I mean? Don't ruin
Oh,
it
yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing. When I first saw the pose, it was like I didn't even realize that they were that I wouldn't have looked at the butt at first.
Yeah, it's not even noticeable. It's not
Yeah.
like it's a freaking thong or anything.
Yeah, and where now their reprise pose actually makes her kind of. For some reason, when I first saw that, I was like, "Huh, that looks like a pose from Bayonetta."
Yeah, it does. It's like Bayonetta or an old 1940s pinup girl pose.
Wow. That's funny. And I like how gamers kind of, I don't want to say people like that who are taking this way too seriously are giving other gamers a bad name, but sometimes they kind of do.
I also have a strange theory though, because I was on my friend's OK Chief. I don't know if you know him in the gaming community.
Yeah.
He has a podcast, and I was on it yesterday, and we're talking about so this is another touchy subject because a lot of people they had that Zelda tribute come out, that 3D browser game. Did y'all see that at all?
Yeah, I was just
There
watching.
there was a Legend of Zelda tribute 3D game. It's basically an NES game in 3D, and it came up. And of course, what's going to happen if somebody makes something that's Nintendo related, right?
Especially if it gets a lot of views.
Nintendo's going to take it down. Now, I'm not saying the guy that made the Nintendo thing or the people that made Overwatch were in on this, but I feel today a lot of people cause controversy within their own stuff to get that publicity, to get the eyes on them, because a lot of people didn't know what Overwatch was until people started rumbling about the butt, and then they changed the pose, and that causes more. You know what I mean? So like, if I was a game developer, I wanted to get known, I would make Super Mario RPG 3D on a browser. Nintendo comes after me, I raise a stink about it, and then I say, you know what? Be sure to check out my next game that's coming out, and make my own brand new game, and everybody already knows who I am because of the Nintendo thing. You kind of see what I'm saying? So that's why I don't try to put too much into like the Overwatch thing, because I feel like a lot of what's out there today and a lot of what people getting offended and doing like that, I think it's the wrong things to look at. And sometimes, most of the time, it's just adding negativity or somebody's agenda or whatever. Just have fun with the games. That's what I say. That's me, though.
Attaboy.
Well said. And that tirade kind of almost brings us to our next topic. People like that who kind of go a little too overboard with their opinions and have their own negative agenda, that sort of thing. Tonight, we decided to also talk about something along those lines. So we're going to turn the show around a bit and talk about a facet of video game culture that I know it annoys me to no end, and I'm sure it annoys everyone else on the panel. That little thing is called fanboyism. We're going to talk about fanboys right now. And I'm just wondering what everyone here thinks actually constitutes a fanboy. I mean, to me, a fanboy is someone who refuses to admit to a universal fault in a game or a movie or a comic or an anime, anything like that.
I'm gonna be honest. I get labeled as a Nintendo fanboy a lot.
Yeah.
But the term fanboy makes no sense at all. To me personally, the term fanboy makes no sense at all. Like, like people could like a game that's shitty, and you don't really have to justify it. And if you're not telling anybody else that they are wrong for not liking it either, then I don't think you're a fanboy. Like, I'll openly say that Nintendo fucked up on the Wii U, but I like it. I'm not telling anybody else to go and like it. So how am I a fanboy?
No, well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You're not a fan. You're just trying to, plead your case. You're saying, yes, I like this. You don't have to like it.
Yeah.
You're not an idiot for liking it.
A lot of people go to that calling somebody a fanboy, though, even though they're not forcing their. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay,
oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
There are people who call, like, Rich from Review Tech USA. He does a lot of videos that they're either, like, one side Sony or one side Xbox, where he'll state his opinion on that, and where he'll be called, like, if he says something negative about Sony, he'll be called an Xbox fanboy. Yeah. If he says something negative about Xbox, he gets called a Sony fanboy.
Yeah, and it's too easy of an insult to throw out on people, and that annoys me. But I do see what you're saying with the traits that you were saying.
Yeah, they just refuse to admit any wrongdoing by their favorite game or anything like that. Like, Zach and I are huge Tales fans, the Tales of series, but I would not get. First off, when I hear the term Tales fanboy, I shudder because they do exist and they are evil and they are so disturbing. But that's neither here nor there. My point is, even though we love the series, I know I can, and I'm sure Zach can too. I'm sure he can find a fault in, one of the games. I know I can. They're not perfect. Love them.
Well, yeah, nothing is. And honestly, everybody's a fanboy of something to an extent. Like,
you say you're the Nintendo fanboy. You would say, Mr. 8-bit.
I prefer Nintendo. Like, if I was to sit somewhere and say which one's my favorite company, I would say I'm a Nintendo guy. But that doesn't mean that I won't say I enjoy playing on my Xbox or I enjoy playing because I got all three, But so am I a Nintendo fanboy because I got all three, or am I a Nintendo fanboy because I got called a Nintendo fanboy for betting against everybody that the NX controller leak was fake. It's like, dude, that's fake as shit. Like, how can you believe that? Oh, you're just a Nintendo fanboy, and you won't admit that they made something stupid like this, and it got leaked, and now they're fucked. I'm like.
Yeah. Did he have a bet going with Jason 3 kilobytes?
Yeah. He owes me $100, and he won't admit that he lost.
And, you owe him some money, buddy.
It makes me a fanboy that I was siding on the side of logic or given a reasonable doubt. You know what I mean? Now, if they came out, and I was like, oh man, it's not that bad, and obviously it is, then I could see why I would be called that. Also, another example was last year, Iwata said, hey guys, we're not going to announce any more Wii U stuff until March 2016. And everybody and their mother didn't get the memo. But it was directly on a Nintendo Direct. Nothing else would be announced to March 2016 because we want to focus on what's coming out this year. Right. Yeah. And so then with E3, people are like, dude, what the hell? These are games we already know about. Where's the rest of the stuff? Wii U's dying. And I'm like, guys, they said March 2016 they'll be announcing the stuff that's coming out after everything's already out. Sure enough, what did they do? March 2016 announced a new Paper Mario, announced freaking all sorts of other crap. Yeah. It's like, just how is that making me a fanboy by stating what was said?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. I mean, they also went and they said no, they weren't going to show off Legend of Zelda Wii U.
No, they
That
definitely
was,
did because it wasn't coming out this year.
yeah. Although now that I think about it, it is kind of odd that they showed off Federation Force, being how that has yet to come out.
Yeah, and I also that's another touchy subject. I got called. I don't see how I got called a fanboy for that still. But when I said I really don't give a shit about Metroid, I was called a Nintendo fanboy, even though I said I don't give a shit about a Nintendo game. Like I don't get how that worked.
It's because
We've all said it.
fanboys
The internet is
defy
a very
logic.
stupid place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but there
like Turf said,
is
it's a stupid place.
there is some overbearing fan groups out there. Like I've heard a lot of bad stuff about Undertale fanboys.
Oh God, do not get
I've
me going.
Yeah, I have yet to experience
On
that, and
that.
I have not played Undertale yet, but I'm tempted to try it out, and I don't want to become an Undertale fanboy if it happens.
I mean, I'm a
I'll be
huge
the first one
RPG
to call
fan,
you out.
and I have yet to try it out. But when I'm not sure if you're familiar with GameFAQs.com, but they usually have like this game, like what's the best game ever tournament, and Undertale
Uh-huh.
won. Oh my God, the internet went into a tizzy because of Undertale winning that game, and
Wow.
the Undertale fans, like they defied their logic, and the Undertale anti-fanboys, they defied logic too by these arguments I see back and forth, and I'm like, ah, God, what started as an innocent RPG, which looked like a pretty good game, has become this unfortunate phenomenon, if you will.
Yeah.
So,
And that happens once in a while with a lot of games. Like Five Nights at Freddy's kind of got their own little thing too.
Minecraft.
And it's kind of
Minecraft,
weird because I don't want to say I feel that there's like a gaming Illuminati out there, but
But there is.
ultimately,
No, I'm just kidding.
like, okay, let's look at Flappy Bird for example.
Oh.
Yeah.
That game blew up because Markiplier and PewDiePie and guys like that make a video, and then people will go and instantly download it, and it becomes an overnight hit. They take away that game, and now whatever that guy makes for the rest of his life will get hits because Flappy Bird caused such a huge thing. You see what I'm saying? That goes back to like it's almost like the gaming media controls what happens. Even in retro gaming, like a ridiculous example was James and Mike played Sky Kid, and that game went to like $40 in price.
Yeah.
Has it come back down yet?
I don't know. I haven't checked, but it's weird that influence changes a lot of things. I think that's what happened with Undertale is that you had the right people making noise about it, and then word of mouth is like, oh, this group of like fan base is just so whatever. Same thing with bronies. Nobody gave a crap about My Little Pony until bronies started making headlines on the internet about it. So that's
Well,
I
what
think
do y'all
in a
do
way,
at y'all's meeting?
in a way it's kind of good to get fanboys if you're making a product. Like if you're making a game, you want to have your bronies or your I don't even know what the Undertale fan base calls them. Undertaleys? I don't know. You
Losers.
gotta have
Really
you
kidding.
gotta get your little loyal. I'm gonna defend this shit no matter what fan base underneath it. So it's a double-edged sword.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll defend the Tales of series, but I won't
Yeah.
like go nuts, Leroy Jenkins about it. I'll still use logic and reasoning when
Yeah.
someone points out a fault in it.
Yeah.
Wait, did you just pull out the Leroy Jenkins reference?
I know,
Wow.
right? Bringing it back. But actually, Mr. Nikon, since you popped up, what have you ever had an experience with any sorts of fanboys? We haven't heard from you much tonight.
Not real. Well, way back in the '90s,
Oh,
back when
geez.
you had the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, fanboys, that whole separation there. Of course, I was a Super Nintendo.
That was me.
fanboy.
I was there.
Yeah.
We were there.
We're
Super
veterans.
Nintendo.
We're veterans of the 16-bit wars.
I saw some shit, man.
It still makes me shudder at night.
You weren't there, man.
I tell y'all what. On the flip side of that, y'all can call. I'm a self-aware Nintendo fanboy. Right now. I'm looking at a Virtual Boy. Who has a Virtual Boy other than a
have
Nintendo
one.
fanboy?
I have a virtual board. I'm looking at it right now. next to a hat with a Nintendo controller on it, and my Wii.
See, I'm telling you, I don't
All right,
wear.
so
I
I'm sorry we
Nintendo can
we cut off
do.
Nikon.
They've made mistakes,
Oh, good.
maybe, but not fatal flaws. You know, they still love me. They didn't mean to hurt me.
Yeah.
It maybe I am kind of an abusive relationship. I don't know.
Turf, show us where Nintendo touched you on the doll.
Quick back to what Mr. Nikon was saying. The major thing that I experienced during the 16-bit war was the Mortal Kombat. The first one didn't have blood in it, and then people were like, "Oh, well, the Genesis one's better." Like, I got a lot of crap for having the Super Nintendo one when it was me and my friends that had it. I even think one of the Sega Genesis Street Fighters was exclusive for a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. One of them was like a timed exclusive.
Play it on a 3-button controller, so Super Nintendo won that one.
Yeah, but there was one that came out when they made the 6-button one.
Oh, was there? Okay.
A Genesis.
It was the Street Fighter Championship Edition. Came out before Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Yeah, something like that. And I used to get so much crap for Mortal Kombat because they're like, "Oh, yours is the weak Mortal Kombat, and it's the kiddie system. Sega's blood and blah blah." And I'll admit, there was a time when Sonic was knocking out, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic Knuckles. I was like, "Damn, Sega Genesis kicks ass." But luckily I still had it because my brother had that system. It's just my parents wouldn't let me have Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo and then buy my brother the same game. They're like, why are we getting 2 of the same game? And you tell your parents, oh well, one of them has blood. Big deal,
But then Sega Genesis had the Sega CD.
Yeah, and then now it's like that.
That's a winner.
And now it's like that today. Like, you have a PS4 and Xbox. You got to fight with yourself which game you should get. Like I went and got
PS4.
Witcher 3 the other day, right? And I'm like, okay, which console should I freaking buy this one for? And then you go and you look online, and Metacritic has a 1-point difference between both of them. It's like, okay, so is the point really that crucial? Like back then when we were Super Nintendo and Sega, we didn't have anything to look up Metacritic or whatever. We had a humiliation of what our friends thought at lunchtime the next day when you bought the wrong console game. Now you have the internet or Metacritic to be like, dude, you should have gotten the PS4 version of Fallout 4 because it has this, or it has an exclusive map that you can't get anywhere else. And it's like, could you imagine, like, I think Mortal Kombat on Genesis with blood was the first time that there was something that was like, oh, it's exclusive only on this system.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought you were about to go with Mortal Kombat was the people who are they were Team Mortal Kombat and Team Street Fighter because that caused a.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing there too.
Yeah, that's a rivalry. So
at Galloping Ghost, they have these intense Mortal Kombat competitions over there.
And for 8-Bit Eric, why don't you tell him what Galloping Ghost is, Charles?
It is pretty much the largest arcade in the United States, or probably the world. In suburban Brookfield, Illinois, they've got just over 500 games in there. So a lot of some pretty rare games. They just got a prototype of the Beavis and Butthead arcade game.
Oh wow!
I
didn't even know there was one.
Apparently there were 12, so this is like number 9. Apparently, they also have a Primal Rage 2 prototype board there.
Wow,
it's fun. They've also got I know you ever played The Grid?
Nah.
They've got 6 arcade caps all daisy chained together, so you can play 6-player Grid, which is pretty fun. It's pretty much just you're going after other players trying to blow them away.
I need to check
we are not sponsored by the Galloping Ghost.
Yes, we at OPB are not sponsored by the Galloping Ghost.
I just talk about them all the time, so.
Hey, arcades are awesome, man. They're diamond. They're not a dime a dozen anymore.
They're starting to come back.
I hope so. We got vinyl. We got vinyl and drive-through movies coming back.
Cassette tapes are coming back for some reason.
No kidding.
The hipsters love the cassettes.
I've not seen that.
The hipsters love a lot of things. We don't talk about them because they annoy me. So,
The only cassette I own is due to the whole Nintendo Quest Kickstarter.
Hell, I got New Kids on the Block on cassette. Come on.
I have that somewhere. I saw it
Are
actually.
you hanging tough?
Hanging tough.
Oh, oh, oh.
We're
Oh, oh. Sorry.
Right. Anyways, friends of mine, it looks like we are nearing the 1 hour mark, so I think it's time we start wrapping this thing up like a present. First of all, 8-Bit Eric, I want to thank you for coming on. It was a blast to have you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I
board.
didn't even know it was only an hour. I'm like, oh man, let's go. I'm getting warmed up.
I know. Like, sometimes we want to go longer. Sometimes we want to end it because we're like, oh, what else to talk about? This is one of those instances where we could have gone a lot longer. So
Yeah.
we won't say this is it. We'll just put it on pause for now. Next time you come on, we can pick up
Oh,
where we
yeah.
left off. How does that sound?
For sure. No problem. Anytime. Just let me know if you want me back on, and I'll be sure to send some people your way to check this out.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
All right, so if
I'll-
anybody wants to find us, you can check us out at ourparentsbasement.com. You can check us out at OPB Podcast on Twitter, facebook.com/OPB Podcast. Send me an email at opbpodcast@gmail.com. I'll answer any of them. I answer the ones that are ads, just because I'll answer anything.
We're on Twitter too, right?
We are on
Yeah.
Twitter.
At OPB Podcast on Twitter.
And one P in
And-
that. It's only one P in that. Because I tried to tag earlier and I put 2 P's and it didn't go to anything. And I was like, oh, it's only 1 P.
Something else.
We're a work in progress, but we'll get there.
No,
you
it's
know.
cool. No, it's cool. Like, I'm just making sure the people that listen know to
Yep.
find the right one. But yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys. If nobody by any chance knows who I am, 8-Bit Eric, just Google it. You'll find some bull crap about me, good or bad.
Yeah, there'll be links in the down there somewhere, so you can click on them.
Oh, iTunes and Twitter. You
Yes.
can, or iTunes,
Oh,
Stitcher,
nice.
and
Stitcher.
Google Play.
Yes.
We're on those
Yeah,
two.
download us there. Subscribe.
Listen to us while you work out in the gym.
Or other things, yes.
Or other things, yeah. Well, we all thank you for watching and listening, and we'll see you all next time.
Thanks,
Good night.
guys.
For watching.
Thank you all.
Peace.